Interview introduction. Interviewer. Today we are fortunate to have an in-depth discussion with a vocal expert on the singing techniques of Russian tenors and the unique theoretical framework behind them. We will explore a fresh perspective, the clock-breathing distribution theory, and analyze how Russian tenors use this method to achieve unparalleled performance on stage. This interview is inspired by a question from my friend at the Web Sapiens. What is your view on Ivan Kozlovsky's singing style? This question reminded me of my years of deep research into Russian tenors, particularly through my original clock-breathing distribution theory, which offers a unique approach to understanding their singing techniques. This theory helps singers understand the flow path of their breath and find the optimal breath support and resonance placement for their voice, forming a systematic method I developed through my studies. Using this approach, singers can optimize their vocal performance, achieving a more stable, pure, and expressive result. In today's interview, we will delve into the singing styles of two representative Russian tenors, examining how they apply this theory in their performances and exploring the differences and merits of Russian tenors compared to other traditions such as Italian, French, and German tenors. Let's discover how proper breath control and resonance cavity optimization enable Russian tenors to present such strong artistic individuality and technical skill. Part 1. The Singing Styles of the Greatest Russian Tenors, Kozlovsky and Lemeshev. Interviewer question 1. In your view, how did Kozlovsky and Sergei Lemeshev inherit the unique style of Russian tenors? Follow real tenor. Kozlovsky and Lemeshev both inherited the tradition of Russian tenors, a style that emphasizes a deep sound and emotional expression. Compared to Italian tenors, Russian tenors often have a more reserved, rich voice, focusing on emotional depth and overall balance. Kozlovsky's voice is powerful and penetrating, with a metallic sheen yet a smooth roundness, while Lemeshev's voice exudes warmth, especially in the lower registers. Both of them showcase a distinct charm in emotional expression and vocal stability, setting them apart from Western tenors. Could you elaborate on the vocal characteristics of Kozlovsky and Lemeshev and how they impact the audience? Follow real tenor. Kozlovsky's voice is incredibly penetrating, with a metallic luster that still retains warmth. His tone is even, balanced from low to high notes, which allows him to maintain smoothness and stability while portraying emotionally intense characters. He places a high emphasis on the interpretation of lyrics, infusing his performances with an artistic aura. In contrast, Lemeshev's voice is more lyrical, particularly in the lower registers, where his sound is exceptionally round and flexible. His high notes are clear and penetrating, but they don't rely on power. Rather, they are achieved through precise breath control to keep the sound smooth. His performance style leans towards storytelling, with every phrase seeming to reveal the inner world of the character, giving his portrayals a romantic flair, most notably in his interpretation of Lenski in Eugene Onegin, which became a classic. Interviewer question 3. What are the noticeable differences between the singing styles of Kozlovsky and Lemeshev and their Italian counterparts? Follow real tenor. Italian tenors, like Mario Del Monaco and Giuseppe Di Stefano, often focus more on the brightness of the voice and the explosive power in the high registers. Their voices tend to be more forward-leaning, particularly in the high notes, relying on oral and nasal resonance to amplify the brightness and penetration of their sound. However, this technique can sometimes lack emotional depth and subtle expression. In contrast, Kozlovsky and Lemeshev's voices are more restrained, focusing on the continuity of sound and emotional communication. They don't rely on excessive throat pressure, but instead use stable breath support and chest resonance to create a deep, layered tone. They place greater emphasis on the internal expression of emotions rather than just technique and vocal fireworks. Interviewer question 4. What is unique about the emotional expression of Russian tenors? Follow real tenor. Russian tenors are often more complex and profound in their emotional expressions. Both Kozlovsky and Lemeshev in Russian dramatic works can express the inner world of their characters more precisely through their unique tonal qualities and vocal depth. Their voices convey richer emotional layers during the climaxes of a performance. For instance, Kozlovsky's portrayal in Boris Godunov reflects the character's internal conflict and tragedy, while Lemeshev's interpretation in Eugene Onegin shows a delicate and poignant emotional depth. This intricate emotional layering makes their performances more impactful and heart-touching. Technically, how do Russian tenors differ from Italian tenors? Follow real tenor. Russian tenors place significant importance on the depth and stability of their breath. They use the collaboration of the abdomen and chest to maintain breath support, ensuring sustained and smooth sound production. Kozlovsky and Lemeshev's high notes are both powerful and clear, achieved through stable breath and precise vocal cord control, not excessive throat pressure. In contrast, Italian tenors often rely on vocal cord closure strength for producing large volumes of sound in the high registers. While this method can create dramatic effects, it can sometimes lead to vocal tension, especially in the higher notes, affecting the naturalness and continuity of the sound. Interviewer question 6. How do you think the singing styles of Kozlovsky and Lemeshev influenced later Russian tenors? Follow real tenor. Kozlovsky and Lemeshev's singing styles have had a profound influence on later Russian tenors. Their technical and artistic philosophies impacted not only their contemporaries, but also later singers like Vladimir Atlasov and Sergei Larin. Their style emphasized the natural flow of the voice rather than relying solely on technical feats, and this philosophy persists today. It has helped Russian tenors maintain a unique position on the world opera stage. Interviewer question 7. In summary, what position do Kozlovsky and Lemeshev hold in the tradition of Russian tenors? Follow real tenor. Kozlovsky and Lemeshev are undoubtedly paragons of the Russian tenor tradition. Their voices are deep, rich, and expressive, with complex emotional layers. Unlike Italian tenors, they focus more on the expression of internal emotions rather than simply technical brilliance or vocal power. Their singing style holds a significant place in the Russian musical tradition and has left an indelible mark on world opera history. Today, many young singers still look up to them as role models, studying their profound understanding of voice and emotional expression. What I can't understand is this. Russia, with its long-standing vocal tradition and a history of outstanding tenors, has now failed to produce a single decent tenor. All we hear today are tenors who force their voices from the throat, shouting and screaming. Where has Russia's vocal technique gone? Who will inherit it? Do I need to be the one to inherit it?